Okay, so if you've ever felt, stuck on that health roller coaster, chasing quick fixes, or just totally drained by all the conflicting advice out there,
Oh, absolutely.
you are definitely not alone.
Yeah.
It really feels like the world keeps telling us to shrink, in every way, and it's just exhausting.
It really is. We're just bombarded with these messages that kind of reduce us to stereotypes, always pushing us to restrict or deny, feel less than.
Yeah,
There's this undertone of guilt and shame in so much of it. It's no wonder it leaves so many people feeling, well, disempowered.
exactly. So today we're doing a deep dive into the Core 4 by Steph Gaudreau. It's a really refreshing kind of no bullshit take on health and wellness.
Right.
Our mission here is to pull out the most actionable, the most empowering insights for you so you can build health from the inside out. We're talking surprising facts, real paradigm shifts, stuff to help you thrive mentally, physically, emotionally, moving way beyond just focusing on weight or restriction.
And what's really liberating about this source, I think, is how it just directly challenges that old idea, that your health is basically found on a bathroom scale.
Okay.
Instead, it offers this multifaceted path. It's empowering, it's about real wellness, and it really shifts the whole game.
Okay, so let's unpack that problem a bit more. We've all felt it, that fatigue, that frustration, especially women, right? With the whole diet roller coaster.
The ups and downs.
Everywhere you look, it's messages to shrink. And
Yeah.
it just pushes us into these cycles of obsession and self-criticism.
And you have to ask, why do we keep falling for it? I mean, the stats, they paint a pretty stark picture. 85% of dieters,
Well,
women. And 95% of diets fail in the long run. Most people regain any weight they lost within, 1 to 5 years?
yeah, I've heard that.
So this constant diet messaging, which is often, steeped in guilt and shame, it leads to unhealthy thoughts, unhealthy behaviors around food and body image for 75% of women.
That's huge.
It's this conventional wisdom that feels like the only option sometimes, and it just traps us. It's disempowering.
So, okay, if shrinking isn't the answer,
Yeah.
what's the alternative here? What's this deep dive offering instead?
Well, the core idea is this really massive paradigm shift, moving away from just chasing weight loss
Right.
to actively pursuing health gain, building health from the inside out. It's about expanding your potential, your health, your confidence, not trying to make yourself smaller.
Expanding, not shrinking. I like that.
Yeah. And what's really compelling is this idea that true wellness means having the gumption to really live, to be bold, take up space, handle life's challenges with grace. The author talks about her own aha moment, realizing health isn't on the scale, it's in the actions, like lifting weights, focusing on what her body can do.
That's powerful.
And that led to more confidence, this feeling of freedom. It reinforces that lasting health. It comes from treating yourself kindly, not from calorie counting or punishment.
Okay, so we've redefined health. Now let's get into the foundations. The Core 4 breaks it down into these 4 pillars, right? They're all connected.
Exactly.
Pillar 1 sounds like it flips the script on eat nourishing foods.
What I like is this idea of an additive approach, not the usual take away all the bad stuff diet mentality.
Precisely. That's the key difference. Eating nourishing foods means consciously choosing, nutrient-dense, real, whole foods. Stuff that looks like it came from nature, basically.
Yeah, not a lab.
Yeah. And balancing your macronutrients, protein, carbs, fats, for actual satisfaction, sustained energy. Prioritizing vitamins, minerals, fiber.
So the additive mindset, how does that work in practice?
It's genuinely transformative.
Yeah.
You focus on what you get to eat. Like, okay, I get to have avocado with my eggs instead of thinking, oh, I can't have toast.
I see. Shifting the focus.
Exactly. And when you start adding more nutrient-dense foods, you often naturally crowd out the less nutritious stuff. It empowers you to make more intuitive choices. You could even enjoy a donut sometimes without feeling guilty. That sounds like a much healthier relationship with food, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dig into those macros a bit. Protein, carbs, fats. Where do we start?
Let's start with protein. It's absolutely crucial, like the building block for almost everything in your body.
Okay.
Animal sources, meat, fish, eggs, dairy, they give you all the essential amino acids your body can't make itself. If you're plant-based, you need to be a bit more strategic, combine things like rice and beans to get that complete profile.
Right, complementing proteins.
Yeah. And if you find you're struggling to build muscle or recover from workouts, or protein just feels heavy, like it just sits there, that could be a sign your digestion needs a bit of support.
Interesting.
Yeah, those mindful eating practices we'll talk about later, they can really help with that.
Okay, protein for building. Got it.
Yeah.
But carbs. They get such a bad rap these days.
Oh, they really do. But carbs are vital. They're a quick-burning energy source. They fuel your mitochondria, those little power plants in your cells.
Right.
And they're the main energy source for your brain. Your brain uses like 20% of your daily fuel, which is huge.
Wow, I didn't know it was that much.
Yeah. Think of your body like a hybrid car. Ideally, it can flexibly use both carbs and fats for energy. Fibrous carbs, apples, sweet potatoes, that kind of thing, they're fantastic. Packed with vitamins, minerals, fiber.
So what's the deal with the fiber?
Well, soluble fiber slows digestion, prevents big blood sugar spikes. Insoluble fiber helps with regularity and feeds your good gut bacteria. It's all good stuff.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So why are people so scared of them then?
The issue isn't really carbs themselves, it's the highly processed ones and tons of sugar.
Ah, okay.
Eating too much of that stuff can lead to chronic systemic inflammation. It's like this low-grade, body-wide issue, often linked to a leaky gut.
Leaky gut. What does that actually mean?
Basically, the gut lining becomes too porous. Undigested food particles, other stuff gets into your bloodstream where it shouldn't be. That triggers your immune system, causes inflammation, leading to fatigue, gut problems, brain fog, achy joints, maybe even insulin resistance down the line.
Okay, that sounds bad.
And here's a surprising twist from the research. Cutting carbs too low for too long, especially if you're stressed or training hard, that can actually mess with your thyroid function and metabolism.
Really? How?
Your body needs some insulin to convert the inactive T4 thyroid hormone into the active T3 hormone, which controls a lot of metabolic processes. So going super low carb isn't always the answer. The quality and the amount really matter.
That's a really crucial point.
Yeah.
Not all carbs are bad, and too few can even backfire. Okay, what about fats? They've had their own good versus bad reputation cycle, too.
Right. Fats are super dense energy, more than double the calories per gram compared to protein or carbs. Our brains are actually wired to seek them out, which is great for things like avocado, great for, say, a huge basket of fries cooked in nasty vegetable oils. Right.
Both omega-3s and omega-6s are essential fats, meaning your body can't make them. You need them from food. Omega-3s are in things like salmon, flaxseed. Omega-6s are in plant oils, some meats.
Okay, so we need both. What's the issue?
The issue is the balance. The modern diet is massively skewed towards omega-6s, often like 40-to-1 ratio with omega-3s.
Wow, 40-to-1. Why?
Mostly because of all the industrial seed oils, corn oil, soy oil, sunflower oil. They're everywhere in processed foods.
Oh.
So the simplest, most impactful thing you can do is just avoid processed foods and those specific industrial oils.
Oh.
That helps rebalance that crucial ratio.
So it's not just what you eat, but also how and when. I think we're all guilty of distracted eating, right? Scrolling on our phones, eating at our desks in the car.
Big time.
What's the hidden cost there?
It's a huge missed opportunity, honestly. Eating when you're distracted or stressed, it seriously hinders digestion. Your body has these two nervous system modes, sympathetic, which is fight or flight, and parasympathetic, which is rest and digest.
If you're eating while stressed, your sympathetic system is firing, and your body just isn't ready to digest properly.
So how do we switch to rest and digest?
Simple things, but really powerful. Take a few deep breaths before you eat. Maybe express some gratitude for the food. Turn off your phone, the TV. Use your senses, smell the food, taste it, notice the texture, take smaller bites. Chew thoroughly.
Okay, sounds doable.
It's not just about better digestion, it's about actually connecting with your food and giving your brain and body a break from all the noise.
And what about gut health? Beyond just being mindful, fermented foods are getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah, they're amazing. Humans have used fermentation to preserve food for ages, and they're packed with benefits for your gut.
Like probiotics.
Exactly. Lots of good bacteria for your gut microbiome, plus enzymes and acids that help digestion and nutrient absorption. And get this, something like 70 to 80% of your immune system is actually in your gut.
Whoa.
So supporting your gut helps with digestion, sure, but also skin quality, immunity. It's all connected.
How do you start adding them in?
Start small. A couple of forkfuls of sauerkraut, maybe 4 ounces of kombucha. Just look for the refrigerated, raw, unpasteurized kinds. They have the most live cultures.
Good tip. Okay, this all sounds great, but practically speaking, we live in a world full of processed food temptations. How do you actually apply this Eat Nourishing Foods pillar without feeling totally overwhelmed?
That's where the concept of Tier 1 nourishing foods comes in handy. Think grass-fed proteins, organic veggies, healthy fats, the real stuff.
Right.
And what's interesting is that these nutrient-dense foods, they're often kind of self-limiting. It's way harder to overeat chicken breast and broccoli than it is a bag of chips, right? Because they actually make you feel full and satisfied.
Sure.
A really practical strategy is meal prep. It doesn't have to be boring chicken and rice every day. Just spending a couple of hours a week can stock your fridge for what the author calls food emergencies.
Ah, food emergencies. I like that.
Yeah, so you don't grab junk when you're tired or rushed.
So with this more additive, intuitive approach, how do we track progress? You mentioned the scale isn't the best tool.
Yeah, this is a really critical point. What are we actually trying to measure? The author strongly advises against using the scale because it just doesn't reflect changes in body composition like gaining muscle and losing fat, or changes in your mindset or your energy levels.
So what are the alternatives?
Well, there's something called the health tracker mentioned in the source, which looks at like 40 different physical, mental, emotional factors. That gives a much broader, more meaningful picture.
Okay.
Or if you really want quantitative data, things like DEXA scans, they give you a precise breakdown of fat, muscle, bone, or even just simple body measurements are much better options. They show real body changes.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pivot. Pillar 2. Move with intention. This feels like it's about more than just, go to the gym.
Totally. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors moved a lot just as part of daily life. We modern humans have to consciously create ways to move more.
Right. Our lives are so sedentary now.
And what's really transformative here is reframing strength training, especially for women. It's not about getting bulky. It's about adding muscle definition, functional strength. The author talks about feeling at home, feeling free with a barbell, taking back her power, focusing on what her body could do.
That's a great perspective shift.
And building strength. It comes from consistently nudging your body, adapting, and prioritizing recovery. It's not just the workout itself. And eating enough protein is key for that muscle repair.
What about that post-workout protein window? Is that real?
That idea that the window slams shut after 30 minutes, mostly a myth. Recovery, muscle protein synthesis, it's a much longer process, happens over many hours, even days.
Okay, good to know. So it's not just about the gym time. What about the rest of the day, that neat phenomenon?
Yes. Neat non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's surprisingly significant for your total daily energy burn.
What exactly is it?
It's all the movement you do that isn't structured exercise.
Yeah.
Light housework, walking instead of driving short distances, taking the stairs, even fidgeting.
Fidgeting counts.
It does. These things don't feel like a workout, but they can add up to hundreds of extra calories burned each day without needing extra recovery time or making you hungrier.
Yeah.
Think about the difference between someone who commutes by car, sits all day, orders takeout, versus someone who walks part way, takes stair breaks, does some active chores. The difference in NEAT and overall energy is huge.
That's really eye-opening. Okay, when we do talk structured movement, what about cardio? Any common mistakes there?
A key insight is why doing lots of cardio without strength training often backfires.
How so?
It can lead to muscle loss or prevent muscle gain and actually slow down your metabolism over time. The source suggests interval training is often a better way to do cardio than just long, slow sessions. It's more efficient, builds endurance and power.
Okay, and what about that runner's high?
Ah, yes, the endorphins. It can feel great, addictive even. But sometimes over-exercising just to chase that high can be a sign you need to look at your overall stress and recovery picture, maybe dial things back a bit.
Listening to your body again. And speaking of dialing back, recovery seems like a massive piece of this strength-building puzzle, but often overlooked.
Absolutely vital. For mind and body, resilience is built when you recover from stress, physical or mental.
So what does good recovery look like?
There's active recovery things like mobility work, stretching, foam rolling, helps keep tissues flexible, aids blood flow for repair, and passive recovery, napping, saunas, maybe cryotherapy.
Sure.
Both are crucial to avoid overtraining. When your coordination tanks, endurance slides, your mental game is just off. That's often under recovery. This also links to progressive overload, gradually increasing weight or intensity to get stronger. You have to listen to your body to do it safely and effectively, ensuring you recover enough between challenges.
So how does posture fit into all this movement stuff?
It's foundational for safe, effective movement. Poor posture slouching, head forward can lead to stiffness, discomfort, chronic pain. It really hinders your ability to move well, both in workouts and just daily life.
And the core. Is that just about abs?
Not at all. Core stability is key. Think planks, rows, waiter walks, exercises that build that whole complete package. It supports your entire body, helps prevent joint pain or muscle tension, lets you move with grace and power.
Okay, shifting gears now. Pillar 3. Recharge your energy. This feels really central, covering energy management, self-care, setting boundaries.
Definitely. And this is where you really see how interconnected the pillars are. Often what feels like a food issue or a movement problem, its roots might actually be in how rested or stressed you are.
Right.
Managing your energy is fundamental. It directly impacts your ability to make good choices in the other areas.
And when you talk energy, sleep is usually top of mind. But it feels like we're in a modern epidemic of sleep deprivation, right?
We really are. And a big culprit is blue light from our screens, indoor lighting. It messes with our natural circadian rhythms, stops our body temperature from dipping like it should for deep sleep, leads to restlessness, poor quality sleep.
Yeah, the phone use before bed is huge.
The stats are wild. Like 66% of people look at their phone within 30 minutes of bedtime. And more phone use equals worse sleep.
Wow.
And the impact of chronic lack of sleep is severe. Getting just 6 hours a night for a week, that can impair your cognitive performance as much as being awake for 48 hours straight.
That's crazy. But we kind of get used to it, don't we?
Exactly. Our bodies adapt to that lower energy level. We start thinking it's normal. We don't realize how much better we could feel.
So what are some keys to better sleep then?
Start with breakfast, actually. Getting protein early provides tryptophan, which is a precursor for serotonin and melatonin later on. Essential oils like lavender can help some people, but critically, set the stage. Dark, cool, quiet room, and ideally no electronics in the bedroom.
Easier said than done sometimes. Okay, beyond sleep, just modern life.
Yeah.
Feels like we're always on. How do we manage stress and recharge in that environment?
Well, first, understanding that stress itself isn't necessarily bad. It's about the dose. And crucially, the recovery. Healthy stress, like a good workout or learning something new, builds resilience. But chronic stress without enough recovery, that leads to breakdown. Cravings, low sex drive, getting sick all the time.
Yeah, sounds familiar for a lot of people.
There's a simple technique mentioned called the SBD breaks. Stop, breathe, do. It's a way to diffuse stress in the moment, bring yourself back to the present, interrupt those negative thought spirals that brain drains.
Stop, breathe, do. I like that.
It ties into productivity, too. Using something like 90-30 work cycles, 90 minutes focus, 30 minutes rest, can really boost output because you're building in that crucial recovery.
Okay, that makes sense. And finally, pillar 4, empower your mind. It seems like our mindset is just as important as diet and exercise for overall wellness.
Absolutely critical, and often the most overlooked piece. We all have that inner voice, right?
The inner critic sometimes.
Exactly, and a lot of its messages are these self-limiting beliefs, thoughts that just aren't true or aren't helpful. The advice here is really profound. Put the brakes on, get quiet, actually question those thoughts. Ask yourself, why do I believe this? Is it really true?
Challenging those automatic thoughts.
Yeah, remembering that you are not your thoughts. You get to choose which ones you act on. There's a great line. You've survived 100% of your worst days. It's a powerful reminder to focus on the present, on rewriting your story, not getting stuck in past guilt or future anxiety.
That's really empowering. How do purpose and values fit into this mind pillar?
It's about finding harmony between taking care of yourself and giving to others. And that really comes from aligning your actions with what you truly value, with your sense of purpose. It means it's okay to say no, to set boundaries, maybe even let go of commitments that just don't fit anymore. The encouragement is to ask yourself, what do I love doing? Find your purpose because, as the source says, doing good feels damn good.
Love that. What about habits? Breaking bad ones, building good ones.
The key insight is replacing unwanted habits, not just trying to fight them with willpower.
How does that work?
There's an example of replacing a nightly wine habit with journaling. First step, figure out the underlying reward the wine provides. Maybe it's stress escape. Then find a new, healthier habit, like journaling, that provides a similar reward.
Address the need behind the habit.
Exactly. It takes self-reflection, analysis, being willing to experiment to find what works for you personally.
And technology. You mentioned earlier with sleep, but how does it impact our mindset and habits? Is there a dopamine connection?
Oh, absolutely. This is fascinating and kind of scary. Social media, apps, tech, they are meticulously designed to be addictive.
How?
They hijack the dopamine anticipation reward loop in our brains. Every notification, every endless scroll gives you a tiny hit of dopamine. It keeps you coming back.
Like junk food for the brain.
That's exactly how the source describes it. It's designed to be irresistible, but it doesn't offer much lasting nutritional value for your mental well-being. So you really have to be vigilant about that mindless tech consumption.
Wow. So much to consider there. What about something simpler, like gratitude?
Gratitude, the source says, is like a muscle. You have to practice it consistently
Ah,
by consciously noticing those small, heartwarming moments during your day and actually writing them down. Get specific in a gratitude journal about what you're thankful for. Doing that regularly can genuinely shift your perspective, retrain your brain to see the positive more often.
okay, so we've gone through all four pillars. Eat nourishing foods, move with intention, recharge your energy, empower your mind. Bringing it all together. What's the big takeaway for you, the listener?
The huge takeaway is how interconnected these all are. If you're struggling in one area, maybe with cravings or feeling sluggish, the root cause might actually be in a totally different pillar, like not enough sleep or too much chronic stress.
Right, it's holistic.
Exactly. And what's so empowering about the core four approach described here is that it's presented as a kickstart and framework for you to experiment, to be curious, to make mistakes even.
It's not about perfection.
Not at all. It's not about being a rigid rule follower. It's about cultivating a truly well-lived life that actually grows and changes with you.
I love that. So for someone listening, how do they start applying this? How do they create their own personal pillar plan?
A great starting point is some self-analysis, like the personal pillar plan mentioned in the source. It helps you figure out where you are now in each pillar.
Okay.
And then just pick one or two small specific changes to focus on first in each area.
Yeah.
Really granular stuff, like putting your phone in another room during meals, or adding some spinach to your breakfast scramble, maybe doing 10 side bends every time you take a bathroom break at work.
Small doable steps.
Yes. And the critical part is setting intentions that really connect with your personal why. What's your motivation for making these changes? That's what makes them stick.
And that flexibility seems absolutely crucial too, right? Because life keeps changing.
Totally. What works perfectly for you today might not be the right fit next year. You have to give yourself permission to try things, honestly assess if they're working for you, and be willing to pivot if needed. The focus is really on the present making good choices now, rather than getting so fixated on some perfect future version of yourself that you just get paralyzed.
Okay, so thinking about this whole approach, here's a final thought to leave you with. What if you started viewing every single small, intentional act of self-care? Choosing that nourishing meal, taking 5 minutes to breathe, getting to bed earlier, challenging that negative thought.
Yeah.
What if you saw each one not just as a healthy habit, but as an act of quiet rebellion?
Mm-hmm. Rebellion against what?
Against a world that often pressures us to conform, to shrink, to ignore our own needs? How might reframing it that way fundamentally reshape not just your health, but your whole sense of self, your purpose? Could those seemingly tiny daily choices actually become the foundation of a truly, well, badass life?